and I think we have only 7,000. Okay, so maybe Dixit, okay, so try to delete all the resources what you have in the subscription. Otherwise, okay, this credences will be collapsed very soon. Okay, so here, okay, so let me go with the demo resource group itself, and here I would say demo. We have just followed the storage account name as like 05 and 25. Yeah, and just now we have not created using this particular name, so that's why it is still available. And for now, if I go here, if you see, okay, when I go with this particular standard one, okay, these are the redundancy features which are available. Okay, LRS, ZRS, GRS, and GZRS, and the remaining two, that is RAGRS. Okay, those things, okay, you don't see here. But when I go with the premium, I think okay, you will be able to see those two as well. I think here it is not showing those remaining two also. When I go with the premium, okay, I will get only LRS, and here, okay, let's say I will say blob type, and here like files here. No. So this premium account types, like whenever I choose any specific one, either like a blobs or a page or a file, I will be able to create only storage account specific with this particular feature, and I will be not having any other storage account types. Okay, so for now what I will do is I will go with the standard, and here, okay, replication as I will create a first as a LRS, and later, okay, I will go ahead and change it to the GRS. Okay, how to do it, okay, I will show you now. And if I go to this particular next step, that is advanced. Okay, let's move to the advanced, and here we have some additional security configurations. Security configuration in a sense, like enable secure transfer. Okay, so like even interviews, okay, you might be getting a question also, how do you uh, make sure that your data will be secured whenever you're transferring your data from your local computer to the storage account, or maybe vice versa. Okay, so this is the feature, okay, by default, which is coming. Okay, so by default, while creating the storage account, okay, we'll be enabling this particular secure transfer. Okay, this is the feature. And if at all, if you wanted to go with in detail, okay, you can just go through this particular specific documentation here. Okay, and here, okay, see enable infrastructure encryption. Okay, so let's say, for example, in addition to that, I think they have introduced new. So by default, Azure encrypts storage account data at the rest. Infrastructure encryption adds the second layer of encryption to your storage account data. Yeah, so as I mentioned here, so by default, okay, the encryption will be there for the storage account, okay, for transferring the data, for storing the data. If I go to this particular next step, that is advanced. Okay, let's move to the advanced, and here we have some additional security configurations. Security configuration in a sense, like enable secure transfer. Okay, so like even interviews, okay, you might be getting a question also, how do you uh, make sure that your data will be secured whenever you're transferring your data from your local computer to the storage account, or maybe vice versa. Okay, so this is the feature, okay, by default, which is coming. Okay, so by default, while creating the storage account, okay, we'll be enabling this particular secure transfer. Okay, this is the feature. And if at all, if you wanted to go with in detail, okay, you can just go through this particular specific documentation here. Okay, and here, okay, see enable infrastructure encryption. Okay, so let's say, for example, in addition to that, I think they have introduced new. So by default, Azure encrypts storage account data at the rest. Infrastructure encryption adds the second layer of encryption to your storage account data. Yeah, so as I mentioned here, so by default, okay, the encryption will be there for the storage account, okay, for transferring the data, for storing the data. In addition to that, okay, if you wanted to have an additional layer for the security, for encryption, okay, we can enable this one. Okay, so this option cannot be changed after the storage account is created. Okay, so it is just a warning. Okay, we cannot change it after creating it. Okay, so for now I'm going with the defaults, and enable blob public access. Okay, so here, okay, what we can do is, okay, we can control, or we can restrict the uh, maybe Dixit, are you not able to see my screen? I'm already sharing my screen. Can't you see my screen? Can you give me the confirmation once again? Yes, no. Okay, you're not able. Is it same for others also? I'm sorry.
We can see. Okay.
Maybe Dixit just try to exit and join again. Great. uh yeah, so this is okay. We can just control it, okay, for the access, like enable a blob public access. Okay, so if you keep it as a blob public access, okay, you can access this particular storage account from the internet also. That is one thing. And enable storage account keys access. So this particular thing, like so if at all if any developers wants to upload some data and download some data from this particular storage account, what we can do is, so we can give this particular keys. Okay, so instead of you giving an access to the storage account, so we can generate a certain keys. Okay, so we'll talk about those keys now. So after creating this particular storage account, so we have like access keys and the shared access signature. We call it as a SAS token. So we can generate those tokens and we can just give it to the developers instead of you giving an entire permissions to the storage account. So that we're creating a keys. Okay, so we're just going with the defaults, and these are the remaining details. Okay, we'll go with the defaults. And if you see here, so this is like a data lake storage account generation tool, so which we will discuss later. So this is majorly used for to storing these particular like pure database related data. If at all if you wanted to store, okay, we can just create this particular data lake storage account and we can store it here. This is majorly used for the big data analytics workloads. Okay, and if I come now here, okay, here you could see while creating a storage account itself, I can choose the access type. Okay, whether I wanted to go with the hot or cool. Okay, so archive, it is not present here. Okay, we can do archive after creating a storage account. And if at all if I wanted to create additional like file share and a table queues, I can just choose it and I can create it. Okay, so for now let me go with everything. So I wanted to create a file share, queues and tables also. Okay, so let me go to the next tab, that is networking. And within the networking also, as I mentioned, okay, this network connectivity we can restrict, like you'd say, I can keep it as a public endpoint. That means when you keep the public endpoint, we can access while creating a storage account itself. I can choose the access type. Okay, whether I wanted to go with the hot or cool. Okay, so archive, it is not present here. Okay, we can do archive after creating a storage account. And if at all if I wanted to create additional like file share and a table queues, I can just choose it and I can create it. Okay, so for now let me go with everything. So I wanted to create a file share, queues and tables also. Okay, so let me go to the next tab, that is networking. And within the networking also, as I mentioned, okay, this network connectivity we can restrict, like you'd say, file share, queues and tables also. Okay, so let me go to the next tab, that is networking. And within the networking also, as I mentioned, okay, this network connectivity we can restrict, like you'd say, I can keep it as a public endpoint. That means when you keep the public endpoint, we can access this particular storage account from any one of the network, or we can choose any selected network also. When you choose the selected network, so here you need to choose the virtual network. So at this moment, I think within this region, whatever we have selected, so you don't have any virtual network. If not, okay, we have to create a new one. And within this network only, we will be able to access this particular storage account. In addition to that, okay, if at all if you wanted to have a endpoint, so like this particular private endpoint is something like so from a specific resource to the storage account, okay, we can create an endpoint. That means that the communication and the data transfer will be directly from the specific resource to resource. Let's say if I say like a VM. Okay, so from the virtual machine, I just wanted to access this particular storage account, so I can create a private endpoint. Okay, so from a specific resource to this particular storage account, okay, so we can create an endpoint. That data communication will be private and it will be completely encrypted and it will be more secured. So for now, as a demo, I'll go with the public endpoints. And if I go to the data protection, so this is one of the important thing also. How do you make sure that how your data will be secured and protected? And if at all if somebody deleted, okay, so how we can recover it? So by using this particular feature, okay, we can recover it. Let's say, okay, so we are a team of 10 people, and if somebody went and deleted the data, and everybody is having a contributor access, and unfortunately somebody went and deleted. So if at all if at all if you wanted to retain that particular data, so we can have enable this particular feature called soft delete. This is very important. Okay, remember this word called soft delete. So if you enable this particular soft delete feature, whatever the time period that you keep it here, okay, so let's say I would say I think maximum we can keep it up to 365 days. Let me keep it as a 366. No, so it should be maximum 1 year. So we can enable the soft delete for the maximum 1 year, and within this 1 year, okay, whatever the data is deleted, okay, we can retrieve it by enabling this particular feature called soft delete. Okay, so in addition to that, okay, we also have like enable a soft delete for the container. Container is nothing but within a storage blob storage account, we will be creating a containers if at all if you wanted to store some data. Okay, so this is for the blobs, only for the container. If at all if you wanted to keep it, okay, you can do that. Okay, let's say I would say 365 days. And similarly we have some additional storage accounts, right? File share. Okay, for the file share also, if at all if you wanted to enable it, okay, you can just go ahead and make it as a 365 days. Okay, so this versioning, okay, we'll discuss later. And this is something like very important in within the data protection. Okay, by enabling this particular soft delete feature, this soft delete feature, okay, maximum will be available for the 365 days. Okay, coming to the tags, okay, you can provide any one of the tags if at all if you wanted, and let me review and create it for now. Okay, so validation is done. Okay, let me quickly create a storage account. Okay, so once the storage account is created, okay, so we'll see high level available features. And and tomorrow we'll discuss how we can import and export data. That means how we can upload the data, how we can download the data by using additional tools. Okay, today I will show you how we can do it manual, but tomorrow, okay, let's see, okay, how we can do it. Okay, so using a specific tools. Okay, so still it is creating. So in the meantime, I'll just go back to this particular resource group. And within this resource group, okay, I have one recovery service vault. So here, okay, I will be getting a storage account once it is done. And let me directly go to the resource here. And here you could see, okay, I have created a storage account. I just named it as a demo and today's date. Okay, and if you see here, okay, so these are the additional features that you could see here. So we have created under this resource group, and this is the performance tier we have chosen as a standard, and access tier I have chosen as a heart. Okay, and I have hosted in a east-to-s, and the replication, that is redundancy, I chosen as an LRS. Okay, so this account kind we haven't discussed. Okay, here we have three types of account kinds. I think they made some changes earlier. Before we create a storage account, okay, we will be having this feature to choose the account kind. Okay, so they just mixed it with the performance tier, it seems. Okay, we'll discuss also later. And here you could see the provisioning stated and created, when it is created, and the rest of the stuff. And if you come to the properties page, okay, so here you could see the same thing here. Same for the blob storage, file share, queues, and table. Okay, so here you could see complete 4 types of the storage accounts here. That is like a blob, file share, queues, and table. Okay, and same way, okay, same as like a any one of the service. Okay, the by default monitoring will be, you will be having it here. And if at all if you wanted to see last 1 hour, you need to change it from here. And if at all if you wanted to see any specific storage account related metrics, okay, so currently it is showing for all the accounts. So if at all if I wanted to see only for the blob, I can choose only blob. I can monitor it. And let me talk about this particular namings here. So total egress. So in a database terminology, okay, ingress and egress means, egress is outgoing traffic. That means, okay, if at all if you're downloading some data, okay, from the storage account, okay, that monitoring tile will be shown in this particular egress under this egress tab. Same as like ingress, that is ingress is nothing but a incoming traffic. Okay, so for example, if at all if you are uploading some data into the storage account, okay, that will be monitor under this particular metric, that is total ingress. And coming to the average latency, so when you try to upload or download some data, how much of time it is taking. Okay, latency is nothing but, okay, how much of time it is taking, so that you can monitor here with the milliseconds. And coming to the request breakdown, if there are any failures, okay, you can just check it here as well. Okay, this is something about the monitoring. And coming to the capabilities, Okay, so this particular storage account, okay, we can use it these many additional features. This also Azure CDN and this rest of the stuff we'll discuss in upcoming sessions. And coming to the recommendations at this moment, okay, we are following the as a best practice. And in addition to that, if you go to this particular tutorial tab, okay, here you will be having additional documentation or a tutorial related to this particular storage account. And if you go to the developer tools, okay, so because so when you are developing a certain application, okay, so we'll be creating a storage account also to store any kind of application related data or something. So that time, okay, so libraries, okay, how to use this particular storage account, so you can just see it in a developer tools. Okay, so these are the high level whole features, okay, that we have on a top page. And coming to these additional features here, if you see here, if at all if I wanted to see any activities, okay, so I can just capture it here using this particular activity log tab. And here you could see I just created by using this particular email id. And if at all if you wanted to see the tags, you can see the tags from here. At this moment I do not have any tags. If at all if you wanted to, you can assign the tags if now also, let's say okay, so I can just assign any one of the tags. I can just click on apply. Okay, and coming to the diagnose and solve problems, okay, this feature will be available for each and every resource. Okay, so if at all if you wanted to go through certain issues and problems, okay, you can go through this particular tab. Let's say here, okay, I cannot delete my storage account. Okay, after creating a storage account, if you're not able to perform the deletion, okay, you can go through the troubleshooting option. Okay, so if you're not able to delete it because okay, there is a dependency for the other resource, okay, on this particular storage account, that could be one of the reason for you're not able to delete the storage account. And moving the data within a storage account, okay, you can see some of the troubleshooting features here. And IAM anyways, okay, we discussed in detail in the beginning. Okay, so by default, okay, whoever is having an access on a subscription, they will be having a default access here on the resource level also. I think data migration, okay, this is the latest feature, okay, they have come up with, I guess. Okay, whereas okay, if at all if you wanted to migrate some data, okay, so this is something like a majorly related to the big data and analytics related topic. So don't worry at this moment, so we'll discuss it, we'll see it later. And coming to the storage explorer, so I was talking about the tools, right? So if at all if you wanted to import and export data, that means import is nothing but uploading the data and export is nothing but downloading the data. Don't confuse with the terminology. So if at all if you wanted to import and export the data, so we will be using a two tools called, okay, so let me open a notepad here. Okay, so one is like storage explorer, and another one is like a AG copy. So these are the two tools, okay, so we majorly use, okay, for importing and exporting the data. So storage explorer, you will be having a UI, that is like a user interface, and whereas AZ copy is like a command line based. So these two we'll discuss in detail tomorrow. Okay, so here you could see, okay, so this specific related blob related, okay, I can see here. If at all if I wanted to upload some data, I can use it here. And coming to the data storage, okay, here we have a four types of storage accounts, right? So the container is nothing but a blob storage. If at all if you wanted to store some data, so first we'll be creating a container. Okay, so if I go here, okay, here I could see at this moment, okay, I have a default container which is created. Okay, so this is for just to storing the logs. Okay, so if at all if you wanted to store some logs, okay, here okay, you can store the logs. And the blob type, okay, you can see it as a append blob, and you can see the access types and everything. Okay, so let me come back here, and for now let me create a new blob here. If at all if you wanted to do it, okay, you can just go to the overview page, and you can just come from here also, it will be navigated to the same page. Okay, so let's say I'll create a new container here, and I'll just name it as a documents, or I'll just simply say docs. Okay, let me click on create. And if you see here, I just created a new container within a blob storage. If at all if you wanted to upload some data, first we should be creating a container. Okay, and if I go get into the container, and if at all if I wanted to upload some content manually, okay, I can just click on upload, and I can just browse it from here. and you can just navigate from your local system and wherever you wanted. Let's say uh, this is my office laptop. Sorry, maybe I need to see which content I can upload. uh, let's say I will try to upload some content here. Let's say I have a test. Okay, so here I have some files. Okay, forget about what type of these files are, but for now let's try to upload some files here. Okay, I'll click on browse. I'll go to desktop. Okay, within here I have a test, and I'll just upload this specific file. Okay, so let me click on open and click on upload. And if you see here, it has like this much of size, and the upload is done. Okay, so and here you could see, so the block type, okay, we discussed right in the beginning. Okay, within a blob storage we have three types of blobs. One is like a, okay, let me just drag it below. Okay, if you remember, within a blob storage, okay, so we had three types of blobs again. One is like a paste blob, and append blob, one more is blob. Okay, can you see, this is the blob is nothing but, so we'll be storing a unstructured data. That could be any video files or audio files, or any images, or any additional any extension files. Okay, they will be storing under this particular blob. Okay, so coming to the append blob, okay, we'll be storing the logs, and the page blob will be storing VHDs. And here you could see within a blob. Okay, so here you could see I'm storing one file. So let's say, for example, now I will download some image. Now I would say like Azure storage account. I'll go to the images and let me download any one of the image from here. And let's say this architecture image. Okay, so I wanted to download. I would say save as. Okay, I will keep it into the desktop, and I'll just say save. Okay, so if at all I wanted to upload it, I can just click on upload. I can go here. I'll go to the desktop, and I can just upload it. And here you could see, so this particular image also coming as a blob type, as a blob. Okay, so whatever the data that you upload, like a files or images or any audio video, so they will be considered under blob. Okay, so now since we have enable a soft delete. Okay, so let's discuss about it now. So before that, okay, let's see, I don't want this particular var, this particular file. I wanted to change my access tier. Okay, so here I can choose the change tier, and here, okay, I could see the feature called archive. Can you see? Just now we were discussing about this particular access style, like a hard, cool, and archive, right? So let's say I don't want this particular file to be accessed by anybody, and I was just wanted to keep into the archive. So if at all, if I keep it in the archive, okay, here you could see setting the access type to archive will make your blob inaccessible. That means once you keep the data into this particular archive mode, it will be not accessed, and until it rehydrated block to hot and cool, which may take several hours. That means, so just by choosing the archive now, okay, this particular file I will be not able to access. And if at all, if you wanted to convert it back to the hot and cool, it may take some hours. Okay, so for now let me click on save now. And here you could see the access tier, okay, it is changed to the archive now. And in the same time, let's say, okay, I wanted to delete some file, and I wanted to restore it. Since I have enabled the soft delete, okay, I'm choosing this particular file, and I'll just say delete. Okay, if you see here, currently I have only this file, okay, which is archived, and another file, okay, which I uploaded, okay, it was deleted. So if at all, if I wanted to retrieve it, okay, so I can say show deleted blobs. If I say this particular show deleted blobs, and here I could see, okay, so complete files, okay, which are deleted and which are active. Okay, so if at all, this particular feature is available because I enable the soft delete. If you don't enable a soft delete, you don't see this particular feature. Okay, so if at all, if I wanted to retrieve it, I can just choose it. Let's say, okay, let's come back here, and you can say undelete. Okay, let's say undelete, and your data will be coming back here. And I'll just minimize this, and here you will be able to see the same image file again. So this is how, okay, you can retrieve it if at all, if any file is deleted unfortunately, by just enabling the feature called soft delete. Okay, so this is the manual process if at all if you wanted to upload and download some data. So generally we do not follow the manual procedure. So we'll go with the either AG copy or a storage explorer on a high level. So majorly it is good recommended to use this AG copy because it is a command line based and it is very fast, okay, when compared with the storage explorer. Okay, so you might be getting an interview question also, like what are the tools that you are using, okay, for importing and exporting the data and a storage account. So you can talk about these two tools which we will discuss tomorrow in detail. That is, one is storage explorer and AG copy. Okay, these two are Microsoft native tools itself. And going back, so, and one more thing which I forgot to mention. So, whenever you create a storage account, a specific endpoint will be created. If you see here, okay, with the storage account name, okay, this is the specific endpoint which will be created for each and every storage account. Okay, so this is the storage account name and blob type. At this moment, okay, here we are into the blob, blob storage, right? So that's why it is saying dot blob and core.windows.net, and this is the container name. Okay, similarly, for now, let me go to the file share, any one of the files here. I'll go to this file share, and if you see here, okay, so at this moment, I do not have any file share, okay, and I think, okay, they have, increased the capacity now till 100 TB. So let me create a file share, and I would say demo file share, okay, and you can keep the quota, how much of GB that you wanted to create. Let's say, okay, I'll go with the 10 GB, and here you could see the access tier hard colon transaction optimized. Okay, let me go to the create. Specific endpoint will be created. If you see here, okay, with the storage account name, okay, this is the specific endpoint which will be created for each and every storage account. Okay, so this is the storage account name and blob type. At this moment, okay, here we are into the blob, blob storage, right? So that's why it is saying dot blob and core.windows.net, and this is the container name. Okay, similarly, for now, let me go to the file share, any one of the files here. I'll go to this file share, and if you see here, okay, so at this moment I do not have any files here. Okay, and I think, okay, they have, increased the capacity now till 100 TB. So let me create a file share, and I would say demo file share. Okay, and you can keep the quota, how much of GB that you wanted to create. Let's say, okay, I'll go with the 10 GB, and here you could see the access tier hard colon transaction optimized. Okay, let me go to the create, and now I just created a file share with the minimum 10 GB. Okay, let me get into the file share now. Okay, so within this file share also, if at all if you wanted to upload some content, let's say I can just click on upload, and I'll just upload it here. And let's say I wanted to upload some same data, and I can just click on use the same image, and I can just simply upload it here as well. Okay, this is something like a manual procedure that you need to perform, and change same way keep it all if you wanted to change the access types, okay, from a cool archive. Okay, so you can change it from here as well. Okay, if at all if you wanted to increase the quota, that means the size. Okay, right now I created with a 10 GB, right? Let's say I wanted to go with a 20 GB. Okay, okay, if at all if you wanted to create in a terabytes, okay, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's say I'm just increasing it to the 20 GB. Okay, so this particular size is increased to the 20 GB now. Okay, if at all if you wanted to delete the complete share, you can delete it as well. Okay, and if I go to the properties page here also you will be able to see endpoint which is created. Here you could see the storage account name and the block, storage account name type. Here you could see the file. Earlier, if you remember, there you will be able to see it as a blob. Now here we are able to see it as a file. For every storage account, uh, for every storage account, okay, a specific endpoint, a specific URL will be created, okay, with the storage account name and the storage account type and core.windows.net. Same way, if you create it for the queues and tables, okay, the endpoint will be created with the dot queues and dot table here, and the remaining will be the same. So let me come back here. Let me go to the overview page, and this is one thing, okay, let's quickly discuss. So we were discussing about, okay, we can mount this particular file share to the both Windows and Linux machines, right? Okay, I can just click on connect, and here I could see the Windows, Linux and Mac. So you just need to simply execute this particular whatever the script that you have. Okay, so can you please be on mute? Thanks. So let's say, okay, if at all I wanted to connect this, okay, so before that, okay, let's see, do I have any VMs here? If at all, if not the VMs, okay, I can just mount it my local system also. So let's go to the VMs here. Okay, I see there are few VMs. Okay, so probably these are like yeah, this is Windows and Linux. Yeah, so instead of me logging to the VMs, okay, what I will do is, okay, let me quickly show you how I can mount it to my local system itself. Okay, if I say here, so at this moment, okay, so okay, I do not have any drives here. Okay, I wanted to map any additional network drive here at this moment. Okay, if at all, if I wanted to do it, okay, so I can do it in a multiple ways. Okay, so let me show you, how can I do it here. So I'll just go back here. I'm on a file share, okay, and a portal. Okay, I created a file share called demo file share, and this file share I wanted to mount it to my local system. So for that, okay, you can choose the letter, whatever the letter that you wanted. Okay, let's go with the default as a j. And here you could see, okay, storage account keys. Okay, these keys will be by default included here. Let me copy this particular entire PowerShell script and let me put it in a notepad so that I'll show you what are all the things we have it here for mounting this particular file share. And if I, let's say, I'll just minimize this a bit. uh, I would say 18. Okay, if you see here carefully, okay, so this is the specific like URL or mount point. Okay, so with the storage account name, demo file share, okay, that endpoint, and this is the username. Okay, the username is like Azure along with the storage account name, and this is the password. And starting from here till here, okay, this complete is the password. Okay, so similarly, whenever you're mounting a network drive, right, so what you will do, okay, you will be having a separate URL, a separate path. Once you exit that, okay, so it will ask you for the username and password. Typically within the organizations, okay, it will ask you for your username and password, but here, okay, we are using the Azure related username and password. This password is kind of key, okay, which we are using for the authentication. And here, okay, we are mounting a drive, and we are just mounting a drive called z. Okay, so for this particular file system, okay, as a root, okay, so we are just using this particular path. Okay, and let's if at all, if you wanted to mount it, okay, so you should be allowing this particular port, that is 445. Okay, this particular file share will be running on a SMB protocol, that is 445. Here you could see below, this script will check to see if this particular storage account is accessible via TCP port, that is 445. Okay, this particular file share will be running on SMB port, that is 445. These port numbers are very very important. Okay, so if at all, if you are getting confused, okay, try to make a note somewhere and try to recall every day. Okay, these are the basic port numbers which are very important. Okay, here you could see which is port SMB user. Okay, if port 44 is available, okay, you can just mount it to the your local system. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. For a few of the folks, your internet ISP provider, that is internet service provider, he might be blocking your this particular port. Okay, so you might be facing some issues. Okay, because I seen this in my previous sessions. Okay, so for now what I'm doing is I'm just simply copying it. I'll go back here and I just open my PowerShell. Okay, once I open my PowerShell, I'll just simply paste it. Okay, I would say right click. Okay, so first what it is doing, it is checking my connectivity. Okay, whenever I pasted my entire script, what it does, okay, it is just checking whether the communication is happening on this port or not. Okay, so after that, okay, after communication is done, okay, it is performing the remaining steps. So I can just simply enter it, and here you could see it is adding the credentials to my local file directory. And once it is done, you will be able to see a file system which is mapped to your local system. Okay, the network resource type is not correct. So I think it is my office laptop, right? Okay, so I might be missing some permissions here. So I think this is not related to line 5. So new PS drive letter name. Okay, so this one, okay, let me try to keep a different letter here, or I would say, so let me try to change the drive letter here. I don't think that drive letter is a problem. So let me click on enter. Excuse me. Yeah, so maybe I need to open the PowerShell as an administrator. I can't on this my office laptop at this moment. But yes, okay, so maybe you can try it, okay, from your local systems. If not, okay, so just create a file save. If at all it is not working on your local system also, okay, so try to create a server. Okay, within the server, okay, try to execute the same thing. Okay, we have created both the Windows and Linux machines, right? Okay, here if I go here, so let me try to do it for any one of the Windows mission here. I think, okay, this mission, okay, we have already uh, having the username and password. Let me start this mission. I'll connect to this mission and I'll try to show you how to mount it again. Same way you can do it for the Linux missions also. Let's say I'll go to the one of the Linux mission here. I think this is the Linux mission, and I'll just start this mission as well in the meantime. So let's see how we can mount this, okay, for the both the missions. Okay, let me connect to this particular Windows mission. Okay, so if I do refresh, it is already up and running. Okay, let me take an RDP here. Okay, so this mission might be still up and running. Let's wait for it. We just initiated the start, right? Okay, it is not yet completed. Here you go, see the starting the virtual mission. Once it is done, we'll be able to take an RDP. So for today, okay, we'll finish it. Okay, how we can mount it to the both the Windows and Linux missions. Then we'll see the rest of the topics, how we can import the data and export the data from tomorrow. So let me try it once again. Okay, I think this IP is different. Let me copy the IP. Oh, it's my office laptop, right? I have not connected to the VPN. Okay. So probably we'll check the connectivity also tomorrow, because okay, since I'm in a office laptop, okay, I some firewall might be restricting. So within your office laptops, okay, once you are connected to the VPN, you will be not able to take an RDP. So probably you just try from your side, okay, mounting this particular files here to the VMs. So I will give you the documentation also. Let's say mount Azure files here to those VMs. Azure, if you say, okay. Okay, so here you could see what are the protocols, okay, that you need to be, SMB versions, okay, you need to have on your local system. And same way, okay, how to mount it, okay, here you could see. Okay, so simply mount the Azure files here. Okay, we have created a file here. Okay, this is the example files here. And once you open it, okay, here we just click on this particular connect option. So when you click on a connect option, so this is the, you can choose any one of the drive letter that you wanted, and you can just simply copy it, and you can just map it directly from here also, instead of executing from your PowerShell command. Let me show you this now. For now, let's see will it work or not. I'll go back here. Okay, so here, okay, for mounting this, okay, what I need to do is I need to go to the view, and here within a view, I think this option is not enabled for me. Okay, this you can try it from your local system. Okay, I think I have many restrictions here on my local no, here on my computer. Here you could see the map network drive, right? So here you could see, you just go to the computer, just go to the map network drive. Okay, here you just click on this particular map network drive. So when you click on map network drive, okay, here it will ask you for the specific path. Okay, here you could see the example as a // server. So we just copied this particular complete script, right? the PowerShell commands. Okay, this is the file share root path. Okay, just simply copy this path. Okay, and when once you pass this particular path, it will ask you for the username and password. Okay, this is the username and password which we need to pass it. So let's say I'll put it here and I'll click on finish, and it is trying to attempt to this particular path. So once this particular path is done, I think okay, I am facing some network error. It is because might be some restrictions firewall issues. For now I'll cancel it. Maybe you can just try you from your local system also doing the same thing. Okay, I'll walk you through the document again. So as soon as you enter this particular path, okay, so here you could see the storage account name and the complete path you could see. Okay, and here you could see the another example also. Once you put it here, it will ask you for the username and password like this. Here you could see the Azure slash. You have to give the username and password. So here, okay, this is the username. Okay, here you could see this is the user. So you need to copy till here, and this is the password. Okay, so once you pass those two, okay, and once you click on OK, you will be able to see a separate drive which is mounted on your network location on your local system. That means here. Okay, so here you will be able to see under this particular network, you will be able to see drive. Okay, it will be mounted here, and whatever the data that you upload on a storage account, okay, you can just copy the that particular data into your local system also. Okay, so here you could see, okay, so the complete additional properties as well. Fine, so maybe try till here. Okay, so whatever we discussed, I'll quickly recap. So we just created a storage account. Okay, we discussed about the types of the storage accounts, and we just seen, okay, how what are the properties which are available, okay, within a storage account. Okay, let's say if I go to the any one of the storage accounts here. Yeah, this is the storage account which I have created. Yeah, so we just discussed the remaining features, and I just created a one blob storage, that is like a blob container. Within this, I just try to upload it, and I just created a file share. Okay, so how we can upload and download the data, and we just now we have created this particular LRS model, right? If at all if I wanted to change it to the GRS, okay, I can just go to the configuration. Okay, so here, okay, under data management, I can go to this particular geo replication, and here at this moment I see a LRS, right? So if I wanted to change it, okay, so I can go to this particular configuration page, and from here I can just change it to, okay, this is the replication I see. Okay, I can change it to the GRS. Okay, replication, GRS, read access, and GR are not supported when the large file share is enabled. Okay, so the reason it is coming as like we have created a file share, right? We have enabled the large file share while we creating a storage account. So for that feature, it is showing that we cannot change it this particular replication. Yeah, probably if at all if you wanted to change the replication policies, we have to do it from the configuration page. So this also we'll see in detail from tomorrow. Okay, for today, just try to create a storage accounts, which is very important. In the meantime, okay, I'll quickly walk you through the documentation also here. Let's go back here to storage account docs. Okay, so let's say create a storage account. Okay, so you will be navigated to the blob storage here. So here, okay, try to create a storage account, okay, by using like a portal, PowerShell, and CLI. Okay, so forget about the template at this moment. Okay, so we are at not yet went into that stage. So I wanted to do it, okay, using portal, PowerShell, and CLI. Okay, so using portal, okay, anyways okay, what we have done. Okay, you can see the detailed steps here. Same way, okay, so just go up. Okay, choose the PowerShell here, and you will be able to see, okay, the step by step commands. Okay, so which you needed, okay, for creating a storage account. For creating a storage account, this is the basic PowerShell commands. New -ag storage account will be passing the resource group name, storage account name, and make sure this particular storage account name is unique. Okay, most probably whenever you are creating a resources using automation, you will face the issues, okay, with the storage account name itself, because this name should be unique. Okay, within a portal, when you pass the name, it will show you the whether it will accept or not. But when you do it with the automation, okay, you have to check it priorly. And same location, and replication policy, we are keeping it as a standard RGRS, and kind we are keeping it as a storage version 2. Fine. So try to do it, and once you are done with this, okay, this is just to remove the storage account. That is for deleting the storage account. And the same way, okay, try with the CLI also, which are very basic commands. Okay, I wanted to do it, okay, without fail. Right, so practice till here, and we'll see the rest of the option, that is importing and exporting the data from tomorrow. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, okay, we'll quickly discuss, and if not, okay, we'll let us catch up tomorrow. Any more questions you have?
The soft delete file, how long
Yeah, good question. Okay, so soft delete, okay, typically, like, while creating a storage account, okay, we have seen like a soft delete feature, right? If you remember, so we kept it maximum as a 365 days, so we can recover the data so till 365 days itself.
Can we do the soft delete for archive also, or just to
uh, Sorry, Vasi, your voice is too low. I'm not able to hear you. Is it same for others also?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it is better now, thanks.
Can we use the soft delete for archive also, just for only blob or file?
No, if you remember, okay, let me try to create a new storage account, just make sure. Okay, so if you remember, I just enable for everything. Okay, so let's say here I'll say, okay, I'll give the different naming here, 2021 05 26 I'll give. Okay, and I'm going with the remaining options same, and advanced I'll go with the same, networking I'll go with the default here as a data protection. Okay, if you see here under the data protection, okay, I'm enabling the soft delete for each and every feature. Okay, so this particular, storage account type is different and access style is different. Okay, so we are enabling the soft delete only for the storage account level, not at the access style level. Hope you understood.
Yeah, understand
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's it. Any more questions?
How do we access the? You said this is the public, correct?
Correct.
That storage is you can access through the public, correct? Like if I want to access to the storage into the public, um, how it is going to be the on the VNet is widely open by default in the backbone network.
Yes, correct. Let's say, what I will say is, I'll go to this particular demo. Okay,
No need to say today, but you can be that. I just want to make sure about that public endpoint. The storage in the blob, I have a file, and I can access through any PC, any PC from
correct.
anywhere if it is public, correct?
You're right. Okay, let me quickly clarify your doubt right away. I'll just give you high level, and we'll see the detailed demo tomorrow. That is fine. If I go to the networking feature here, okay, on my storage account, okay, here if you see the allow access form is from the all network. Let's say, okay, what is the different? I'll show you right away. Okay, I'm keeping a all network, and if I go to the containers, okay, if I go to the docs, I'm able to see all this data right at this
I
moment.
understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
but when you keep
Yeah.
it as a specific
So you
network, right?
have an option, the all networks to enable that. Okay. Or if you want to restrict, you have to use the specific network only.
Correct.
Okay. Then.
So when you keep the specific network, you will be not allowed to see the data. Okay, let me add a new network here because I don't see any existing network. Let's say, do you have any existing network here? No. Right away, let me create a
No,
new
no, I
network.
understand. No worries. No, I understand because that was my question. Where we going to
Uh,
be specified to wildcard entry allow
Correct.
by that
Okay,
in under
here
the
is here.
storage. Under the storage, you have a network option. Is it okay? Now I
Correct.
understand that.
This we can,
That we did.
keep it. Yeah, while creating a storage account, also we can keep this one.
Correct. So that
Yeah.
pan need to be explored. That
Yes.
okay. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
explanation only. Okay. Thank you. Got it.
Yep.
Thanks. Bye.
Great then. Any more questions from others? Okay, I'll take it as a no. Fine then. If you don't have any questions, okay, I'll be sharing the document. Try to create the storage accounts with the three ways, and walk it. Try to go through the whatever that features that we have discussed, and the rest other options we'll see tomorrow. Okay. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post your questions on a WhatsApp group. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.